What is heroin doing to Juneau? It's devastating a lot of families. It's causing a lot of pain. Looking at it from a social impact, it's really breaking the heart of Juneau.
In Alaska's capital city, police say 6 people have died from heroin overdoses in the first 10 months of 2015. The deaths have saddened and frightened Juneau, a city already struggling with heroin-related crime and a population of addicts in the hundreds. Now, several people have begun to speak out, to share their perspective on how this problem started and the toll the drug is taking on their community.
What I'm noticing as we work these individual cases is you have a group of drug users that are older. They're more like my age, getting close to 50. Our other group of users are in their mid-20s right now, and they started in high school with the oxys.
It started with prescription pain medication.
It was my 16th birthday. I never did anything before, no drugs or anything, and I tried it, and then after that, just lost all control.
The thing with my friends and I is we really didn't see it as a drug because it was something that you could get from the doctor. It was less taboo.
So it really felt like the Wild West back then. These drugs were just everywhere. And they were everywhere in the high school is what we were hearing.
The street value for them got very expensive, where the street value for heroin, for instance, is a lot cheaper.
Heroin has come in and dominated as the drug of choice amongst drug users. What we're looking at is a basic single dosage unit of heroin as it sells on the street in Juneau. This would sell for $100.
There's something about it, like just the high, just the feeling. There's something so addictive about it that you just can't stop.
I kept being able to work for a while and definitely thought that I was hiding it, but it usually ends up with, you know, having to support your habit in illegal ways.
The visible face of heroin comes in a number of different ways. You see that with the shoplifting, the theft, the reports from families that a family member has stolen a checkbook.
Back in 2005, I was arrested for my involvement with drugstore burglaries.
I went to jail for robbing houses and drug dealing. I couldn't even tell you how we really got caught. Like, we thought we were brilliant. We thought we were never gonna get caught.
The most common rock bottom I've heard is that they ended up in jail.
It'd probably be my lowest point is before I got arrested. I am normally probably around, between 150 to 180 with weight, and when I got arrested I was 98 pounds. I remember so many times just sitting there just begging God to take my life because I couldn't go through the withdrawals.
Shirley Buell, who now lives in Anchorage, says 2 of the 3 children she raised in Juneau struggle with heroin addiction. She said she barely recognized her daughter the last time she saw her.
It's scary to see your child like that. That's not my baby. I mean, that's not her. They're so messed up with this stuff. It totally controls them. I'm not sure if I can get her back or if I can even get her into help.
No one has felt the losses more deeply than the families of those who have died. Regan Eidsness Hugs has lost 2 brothers to drugs, including Brock Eidsness, who died in September. She recalls the moment her mother shared the news.
And I said, what's going on? Why are you here? And she looked at me and she's like, Brock's not okay. And I said, what's wrong? She said, they found him this morning.
Now she's left with complicated feelings.
The guilt and the anger and the frustration and the stress.
A picture in her mind of how Brock may have been found, and an image of an aspiring filmmaker she wishes she had known better.
That vision of Brock and him down south with the camera and his little earpiece is what's in my head. I didn't get to see that Brock.
I don't think there's been sadder conversations in my career. There are certain times as an officer that This person's life is never going to return to normal after this. This is a Y in the road that can't be undone. I think it's surprising for some people in Juneau that these are our hometown kids. These are kids that were born in Juneau, or at least kids that grew up from being very young in Juneau, and they acquired their heroin habits right here in Little Juneau.
Our parents were home. We had a house to go to. We all had beds. It wasn't like we were poor or living off on the street.
I had a seemingly perfect life, but
I think people say, people that have had a hard upbringing or tend to use or whatever. Not true. Not true.
If anything, heroin is favored by primarily Caucasian and wealthier families.
I just don't understand why we've missed this. And it's devastated the class of 2008 in Juneau.
I always think about, our 10-year reunions coming up, and, we're going to be missing so many people.
it truly breaks my heart. I know some of those people, and it's very probable that I could have been one of those had I not gotten arrested.
My heart breaks for people that have to fight the addiction every day.
This is somebody who has a family like you have and has dreams and has a job and that you see at the grocery store. It's a real person.
I am so sick of this lifestyle. I made it about 7 years after all those first charges I was telling you about before I had a relapse, which ended me back here again.
The big impact is I'm a felon. I'm never gonna get a good job. My son, he's, gonna find out that I'm a felon one day, and
I believe that it's something that I'm going to definitely have to work on for the rest of my life.
Recently in Juneau, several community members have become vocal, sharing their stories in an effort to keep the problem from worsening.
The response by the police to heroin is changing because simply going after the supply of heroin and trying to interdict the heroin and trying to get tips about the heroin isn't enough.
This is the logo that the police station and us are all using, and this is what's going on the pizza boxes, and it's on our Facebook. The first child died, the kid, he was 26. No one wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. And everyone was just quiet about it. They were like, I'm so sad. And I said, no, we have to talk about this. So we're pretty happy how things are going. I think we're going to make a difference.
I don't think that we're done with our heroin deaths is my fear. I don't know why it would reverse suddenly at this point. I think that it's going to take some time to close off what's going on right now with heroin.
I want this out there. I don't believe that there's anyone else that has lost 2 siblings.
You might not think it's easy, and I can't imagine it being easy to tell a story about somebody that you've lost. I'm only telling mine because I don't want to lose my kids.